Hello and welcome to this new little Q&A video. We are about to start up a new series here on the channel, and if you're watching it on release, well, the show will air for the first time here on the channel in just about 1 week's time. And because of that, I thought, why not give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions about it, or just in general some questions about the channel. I did that over on Instagram, and luckily some of you guys actually had some pretty good questions for me, so the answers are coming right now. So let's just start off nice and easy with the question, what's your favorite model? I think I get this question pretty much for every single Q&A, and I guess my answer will probably always be a different one because I don't really have one favorite aircraft model. I love a lot of aircraft models. I would say two that are close to my heart would be a Lufthansa Jumbolino, because I very much remember, I mean, as a kid, I fell in love with this aircraft, and I remember I had the chance, I guess it was sometimes in the mid-90s, actually to have a flight on a Lufthansa Jumbolino. And I remember as a kid how excited I was to get into the aircraft and experience it for the first time. And now I have a model of that, or have had it for a little while now. And then I would say my Swiss Jumbolino I also like. I mean, none of these models are particularly good, but I just love them because I have a connection to them. I mean, the Swiss Jumbolinos I've been flying on quite a lot when they were still part of the Swiss Air fleet. So those two I really like a lot, but there are a lot of great models out there. Any nice custom models to see on future airport updates? Yes, I have actually over the last few years built up a decent sized fleet of custom aircraft models, but most of them actually only really work on an European airport and in present day. So that's why I haven't really had them in my videos, but that might change in the future. What's your favorite airline and plane model? Favorite airline, Swiss International Airlines. Favorite plane model, we talked about it, my small Jumbolinos at the moment, but there are many lovely models out there. Do you plan new model airport projects? Yes, in fact, I have been planning a project for a couple of years. With me, things take a long time. I need to think them over many times. I have one particular project in mind which I very much would like to do, and I'm fairly certain I won't make it this year, but the goal right now is to start it up next year. It's not so much that I wouldn't have the time to build it now, but if I want to make videos, I still have so many other things I want to do before that, so I wouldn't really get around to it. So yeah, I think from next year, that's the plan at the moment, the scenario at the moment that I think is most likely. So yes, I do have a new project. I can't say much more other than it will be in present day, and it will be in most likely Northern Europe. But yeah, I will of course let you know more about it as soon as the project progresses. But I have already, gotten a few lovely aircraft models for that project. So the next question here, it's a bit longer, but let's see. Because of your massive fleet, can you create a series with, for example, Philadelphia setup, where the location changes each episode? For example, one in Germany with your German fleet, one in the UAE, where you put Emirates, Etihad or Qatar, or one in Asia. You know what, that's actually a really good idea. I mean, I've been asked a few times if I could, like for example, do a single episode using the Philadelphia airport and then placing it in Europe, and I've not been a big fan of that. But I think the general idea to maybe create something where, yeah, basically in each episode, we are somewhere else in the world, so then we can really show more aircraft. I like that idea. I don't think I will do it on my Philadelphia setup, but maybe in the future I could create a single air setup that I could use more widely, and basically every episode go somewhere else in the world. Not this year, but I will keep it in mind. You've done the worst thing you can do to me. What? I mean, Yeah, you've done the worst thing you can do to me. You've implanted a very good idea in my head and it will remain there for a long time. I will now be chewing on it every single day, thinking about it. But I like the idea. Could definitely be something for the future. Is Herpa going to fall one day? So I guess you mean basically go out of business. I hope not. I seriously hope not. I know that I'm criticizing Herpa a lot, and but I'm only criticizing them because I know they can do better and because I want them to do better, and because I think they need to do better if they want to stay in the business. So I really hope that they will remain in the scale 500 market, but I mean, it's not a public company, so they're not having, they're not on the stock market, so there aren't really any public numbers when it comes to the financial situation of the company. So who knows if they're in trouble or not? But I really would like them to stay. Do you see the 1 to 500 scale market gaining more suppliers to rival Herpa anytime soon? I would love to see that happening. If you have watched my series Herpa We Need to Talk, if you watched the first chapter of that, you will have noticed that I had been in contact with NG Models, where they actually said that they would start making scale 500 models in the second half of 2022, so this year. But I haven't heard anything since then. They haven't announced anything, so if they're still planning on doing so, they are definitely keeping it to themselves. And I mean, they kind of said the same thing last year and that didn't happen, so I would love it. I would love to see NG Models, JC Wings or anyone else. I have my doubts that it will happen anytime soon. I will do everything I can do. I will write comments under posts from NG Models or JC Wings or anyone else, asking them for scale 500 models. The best thing you guys can do is also to, in a friendly way, ask for scale 500 models. If you know a company, send them emails. The best thing we can do all together is to lobby for companies to start making scale 500 models. It will take time. I'm fairly sure about that. What is your favorite airport accessories? Not planes. I mean, I have reviewed a few years back. It's like this basic set from Herpa Wings, which has a little bit of everything. And I think for beginners, that's pretty decent. The only thing that I don't like about that set is that the belt loaders, I mean, they work for 757s, but they are definitely too high for 737s. And the 737 is definitely the more common aircraft. So it's a little bit strange that I have made a belt loader for a less common aircraft model. But I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it's a good beginner set. I don't know if I have, I mean, I'm struggling to find a favorite aircraft model, let alone some favorite accessories. I mean, I like the larger yellow loaders from Herpa, because they look nice. Can I say buses? Am I allowed to say buses? The new Herpa buses that they announced or that they released some years ago, they made them in white and then blue. I think they look nice. Should Herpa stop making snap fit and 1 to 200 scale to focus on 1 to 500 scale? Damn, that's a good question. I mean, given that it does seem, I mean, we don't know, but it does seem like their resources in the wings section of Herpa does seem to be limited, both in manpower and just in general. And in that sense, it could make sense to focus on one area and then maybe do that a bit better. I mean, I don't buy snap fit models, so I don't really care. But I'm sure there are some people out there that would care if Herpa stopped doing them. Their scale 200 models, I think it's a mixed bag. They're not terrible. The single aisle are not terrible because they're actually made out of metal. Many of their wide body aircraft are made out of plastic and cannot compete with any of Herpa's competition there. I would say yes and no. I mean, as I say, it would make sense if you're struggling to maybe focus on one thing and really get it right. But I'm not sure that it will solve Herpa's problems, to be honest. Because I think the problems Herpa have are deeper rooted than could be solved by that. And then we have a question, will you ever switch scale? Tough question. If you were starting off now, I could very much understand if you did not choose scale 500. But making the switch when you have a larger fleet isn't that easy. I mean, you can do it. It's not that. I mean, you can sell off models. You can just start collecting in a different scale. But I like scale 500. I would wish we had more great models in scale 500 for sure. But in general, I'm actually quite happy with the scale itself. So, I mean, you should never say never. Maybe, who knows? But it's not really something I'm planning on doing at the moment, at least. What about a My Collection Qatar Airways? I should definitely make more My Collection videos. I've been pushing it a bit lately because I have had so many other big projects. I hadn't really time to do that. Qatar Airways, I mean, I do need a few aircraft to actually make a My Collection so that it makes sense. 3 is the really bare minimum. I like to have 4 and above that for a My Collection video. I mean, I have the A380, which is nice. I have the A350-900. We could take the freighter with it. Then we have an A330-200. We have, of the 3 Gulf carriers, funnily enough, even though it is the smallest, I have most aircraft from Etihad Airways, then Qatar Airways, and then Emirates. So completely the opposite than from the real world. But Qatar Airways, I mean, we also recently had the A320, and we bought the extremely bad A350-1000 Qatar One World livery. I guess we have enough now to actually make a My Collection video, so I can put it on the list. Why not? Why did you choose PHL specifically in 2007? What inspired you to do that? All right, so let's talk a little bit about this new project of mine, PHL 2007. And you know what? Let's start off very exclusively just here in the Q&A video, the latest trailer for the project. Today we know Philadelphia International Airport as the East Coast hub of American Airlines, but back in 2007, Philadelphia was still home to US Airways. The airline had only a few years prior absorbed the airline America West, and with that merger started introducing a new livery, had become a member of Star Alliance, and had been voted the worst US airline in 2007. It was a time of change in the US aviation industry and the dawn of the next big wave of airline mergers in North America. So with that, welcome to PHL 2007. Alright, so in the trailer I kind of already answered a little bit the question, but let's just quickly recap. Why did you choose PHL specifically in 2007? What inspired you to do so? I mean, there are a few factors that inspired me to do that. I mean, one, I always wanted to do a retro setup of Philadelphia Airport. And what is great about 2007 is that at that time, the home carrier of the airport was still US Airways. And even better, in 2007, the airline was transitioning from the older dark blue livery to the last actually standard livery of the airline, which was in a light gray tone. Which means you can use both models with the dark blue and the light gray, which increases the amount of models you can use. And then you, of course, were, as I said in the trailer, kind of in the dawn of a wave of airline mergers, but it was just before that. So you still had airlines like Northwest Airlines, Air Tran, or for example, a low-cost carrier of United Airlines called TED. All these airlines were still flying around, and more crucially, you have models of these airlines, which is great. So you could really get a lot of airlines and aircraft models together that work specifically around that time period. And even better, also at Philadelphia. So that was, I think, the main reason why I chose this time period. Oh, that's a nice one. How did you pick or look up the routes for this replica of PHL from 2007? Truth be told, I haven't. I mean, it's not that I haven't looked at all, but it's nearly impossible to really find anywhere. At least I haven't been successful in finding specific route map for 2007, but there are plenty of sources showing you a general route map of US Airways, which of course is the largest carrier at Philadelphia in 2007. So for example, I do use routes that were also operated from Philadelphia at the time with US Airways. I have to guess a little bit what kind of aircraft types, but I've never been that, precise about, oh, I have to use this aircraft type for this route, because I think it would be differently if I was living in the US and would see it every day. I would know more about it. It's a bit more difficult when you are in Europe, so there's quite a distance to figure out all these minor details. So there is some creative freedom here. But as I say, the destinations themselves, they are realistic. They would have been operated by US Airways, but it is more a replica in the sense that the aircraft types and the liveries, the airlines that you see there, you would have been able to see in 2007. I don't have any source material to make completely super realistic timetables and routes from the time because I just don't have any source for that. So that's creative freedom, I guess. A suggestion, what about a PHL series from the future? So like 2026, 2027 with airlines that don't go to PHL today. I mean, the idea itself is not bad. Although we are kind of doing it already. I mean, there are a lot of airlines at my PHL airport that don't fly to Philadelphia in real life, although most of it is the international traffic. But the one little issue here is that I would imagine there would be some new aircraft types by then, and some aircraft types we see today that wouldn't be flying anymore. Going into the future with this hobby is difficult. I mean, I like the idea itself. I just don't see how I could pull it off. Because I think then if you just want to have traffic that, doesn't really go there, which we kind of already have, but then, we can just make a completely fictional setup. But I'll keep it in mind. Are you considering to create your own scale model company? He even writes that serious. Yeah, if someone was starting up a company, I would love to do your marketing and communication. I think that's where I could succeed. But having the sole responsibility of starting up such a company, I don't think I would be the right person for. So no, I'm not considering. I mean, apart from the massive investment you would need to make to start up such a company. So maybe if someone else wants to start it up, as I say, communication and marketing, I'm your guy. Did Herpa react or contact you about your videos? So far, no. They once responded in a comment. I don't even know if it was under my video or a comment from me under one of their videos where they invited me to watch one of their Instagram live streams. That's pretty much all interaction I've had with them on social media. So maybe one day. Where do you primarily buy older aircraft models you didn't purchase when released? So second-hand aircraft models I mainly buy from eBay or from Luftfahrtshop when they are open. because they have a lot of second-hand aircraft models at very reasonable prices. And yeah, eBay, I mean, eBay, you find everything. Sometimes for exuberant prices, then I don't buy. And sometimes for reasonable prices, then I do buy. So yeah, though I think that's definitely the two best places if you are looking for second-hand aircraft models. Favorite setup right now, I mean, I only have two, so it's Philadelphia or Cardiff. Both are good. I hope so, at least. How did you make the model airport so realistic? I mean, thank you very much that you think so. I have been looking a lot on Google Maps to see what kind of designs you find on the ground around airports. I have been looking a lot on other accounts making airports. One is, for example, LK Airports, who's one of the best in making building airports. I'm nowhere near that. But yeah, take inspiration from others, look at the details maybe they are using, compare it with details from real life. I think that's really the main thing. Look at how it looks in real life. I mean, there's plenty of source material, Google Maps, plenty of images on the internet, videos, and look at that and then just try to, you know, replicate what you can replicate and take it from there. And then, yeah. But I mean, there are many great airport replicas out there that are far better than what I've been able to do. But yeah. Oh, okay. The next is not really a question. Just to say a big thank you for all your incredible work to help the community. You're warming my heart. I mean, thank you very much. Too kind, much too kind. I think the entire community is doing what they can, but thank you a lot. Well, a little bit off topic, but we take it anyways. Will Schalke be promoted? So for those who don't know, I support a football club called Schalke. It's a German football club that currently is playing in the second division of German football after they got relegated last season. But right now it looks pretty good for promotion as they are in first place. I don't want to jinx it. I think there are 3 or 4 matches left. I really want them to get the promotion, but they still have some really tough matches coming up, so who knows, but I would be very happy if it happens. Statement regarding your lovely relationship to Bernie, so Bern International Airport on Instagram. I mean, we know each other. He likes a lot of strange yogurts, which I don't. Would you rather eat an aloe vera yogurt or buy a Cargolux 747-400 Retro from Harper? I mean, I bought the Cargolux. I can't see myself buying aloe vera yogurt. That's not yogurt, that's something you put in your face. No. Have you ever been to Italy? If yes, where? Greetings from Turin. Well, greetings back from Denmark. Yes, I have been to Italy. Although it's been a few years since I was there last. I have been to Bologna. I've been to some little unknown village at the coast, the Mediterranean coast. And I have been to Rome. That was the last time I was in Italy. And I think that's it. So unfortunately, I've never been there to do some spotting. If you watch the video, let me know if there are any good spotting places in Italy and what's your favorite spotting place. Maybe I will go there one day. All right, you guys, I think with that we have answered most, if not all, of the questions you guys had for me this time. I hope yeah, my answers have been somewhat satisfying for you. I feel I let you down with the question about the accessories, but I just can't think of any favorite accessories. I bet you if I turn off the camera I will come up with a smart answer, but right now I've got nothing. But in any case, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and of course don't forget to leave a like if you have enjoyed the video, hit subscribe if you haven't already, don't miss out on the premiere of my new show PHL2007 coming up on the channel next Friday. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye. Too close? Where do you Where do you primarily order? No, I can't read. That's bad. Jesus Christ, I'm sweating like a pig. Do ba 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 do. Why do I have this song in my head? Yeah, you're not getting any prettier. All right, let's go. I don't think we can do it any worse.